Hello and welcome back to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel, where of course we're giving you all the latest news, views and opinions on all things Albion. We are back again today with another match preview for you, looking ahead to the EFL Championship clash, which kicks off at 3 o'clock at Carrow Road against Norwich City. Yeah, the match previews are going thick and fast at the moment with so many fixtures going on, which after last night's performance is probably a little bit unfortunate for Albion fans, you know, seeing a game coming up so quickly. I suppose got a chance to put things right, but also a chance to maybe even get even worse for ourselves as Albion fans. So yeah, we'll be chatting through a bit of an opposition report for Saturday's opposition Norwich. We'll be talking about what they can bring to the table. We'll also be giving predicted lineups for both sides, my general thoughts on Albion at the moment. Of course, a little bit of a deeper dive into the Birmingham game as well, and a score prediction at the end as well. So yeah, we'd love to hear yours too. We'd love to hear your thoughts ahead of the game. I know it was a really frustrating night on Wednesday, so yeah, great to get your thoughts on that as well. Make sure you go and check out the matchday vlog from that. So pretty dire reaction after that from myself, I must admit. But yeah, feel free to get involved and jump in the comments with your thoughts ahead of the game. Subscribe if you're new, and let's crack on with this match preview. It's West Brom versus Norwich City.
You're watching the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. For match previews, matchday vlogs, match reactions and more, make sure to subscribe to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel.
So let's begin, starting with the home side, Norwich City. Of course, sat second in the EFL Championship. I mean, yeah, it's going to be a difficult game. Let's be fair. Let's be honest about this. It's going to be a really difficult game. I mean, yeah, once again, Norwich have come down. Got a fairly stacked squad. I don't think as stacked as recent years, but still a very good squad for the division. And I think whoever finishes above them will certainly be heading into the Premier League. If anybody does finish above them, of course, a real stronghold in the Championship, as always. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a difficult game, especially, you know, the way that we've played against a sort of lesser opposition on Wednesday night. I think it's going to be even more tough. So second in the EFL Championship for Norwich City, 6 wins, 1 draw and 2 losses in the division. Wins coming against Huddersfield, Millwall, Sunderland, Birmingham, Coventry and Bristol on Wednesday as well. Draw against Wigan and 2 losses against Cardiff and Hull City. Of course, did have a bit of a difficult and tricky start to the season. I think they went off and lost to Cardiff. Then I think they drew to Wigan. I think people were kind of thinking, oh, Norwich in a little bit of trouble. But that is a minuscule sticky patch in comparison to all the wins and impressive performances that they've seen so far. Unlike Albion, whose sticky patch seems to be remaining for what seems like coming up on half a season now. But yeah, only 9 games in. But yeah, still, Albion's sticky patch seems to last a lot longer than Norwich's. But they are, of course, managed by Dean Smith, formerly of course, to those local and to those clued up on the Midlands football. Obviously, former Aston Villa manager, 1 promotion under his belt with them, and Walsall, of course, as well. Those local, I used to go and watch Walsall quite a lot when I was a little bit younger, and remember very fondly Dean Smith's Walsall. Yeah, and also Brentford boss as well, from a Brentford manager. So yeah, I like Dean Smith's career path. I really do. I like the way that he started quite low, got a little bit better, and then got into the Premier League with, by the sounds of things, his boyhood club in Aston Villa. Yeah, I mean, a difficult start to the season for him. There were questions earlier on in the season about, is he getting the best out of the squad that he's got? But I think they've done a little bit of trimming on sort of the players that have come up and down with them over recent years, and kind of streamlined it into a little bit of a better squad to work with for a manager, and for a manager to be able to put together into a coherent system. So I think that works a lot better for Norwich, and I think that they've got the sort of manager that could take them up and could bring them a lot of joy throughout the season. So yeah, how they've been doing so far, of course, as we said, second in the Championship, second to Sheffield United, who, yeah, look a real force as well this season. Third most goals per match in the division with 1.7 per game. Second best average possession in the league as well with 61.4%. So they're obviously looking to control possession, control the ball. Their 2 top scorers and top assisters. Josh Sargent has come down and started well. Of course, not doing so well in the Premier League, of course, as Norwich didn't do last season, but has come down to the Championship and got 6 goals in the first 9 games of the season. So he's doing very well. I think he is probably up there for Championship top scorer at the moment. Which is good to see. Second top scorer behind Oscar Estepinian, who he shipped 2-2 against Hull City earlier on in the season. So yeah, top assists, Aaron Ramsey with 3, and they're looking a real force. Let's be fair. You know, they've got a lot of creative players, a lot of ideas really in that side, and a lot of different ways to kind of bail a side out, where I think Albion are struggling to find ways to kind of bail out poor performances. And I think Norwich, even though they didn't start well to the season, they've certainly got a lot better. And yeah, I think their defence may be looking a little bit rocky in a couple of games, especially against Bristol, but certainly putting away the chances and having the attacking firepower to do so is a big plus point for Dean Smith's men. But here's what I think they're going to go for in terms of a lineup. Is simply copying their last game against Bristol. But Tim Krul in goal, of course, a real stalwart in the Canaries net, of course, for quite some years now. Max Aaron's at right back. Surprised to still see him in a Norwich City shirt. He seems to get linked with a new move every single year. Andrew Obamadele, of course, in there as centre back alongside Grant Hanley. Byram at left back, midfield two of Nunez and Kenny McLean. In attacking midfield, Aaron Ramsey, brother of Jacob Ramsey, of course, doing very well for Villa, was on loan at Cheltenham Town last year, who, of course, if you know me personally, I know followed very closely, and wasn't quite good enough, I don't think, for League One and the physicality of it, but seems to have come in and done a decent job for Norwich. Todd Cantwell and Josh Sargent on the wings, and Timu Pukki up front. Interesting that Josh Sargent is on that right channel rather than in the striking position. Of course, Timu Pukki still a massive goal scorer at Championship level, and it'll be interesting to see how he gets on when he takes the form against Albion. I mean, yeah, last games against Norwich City, I remember the one under Darren Moore. In fairness, which was a really high scoring game. I think it was 4-3 back in the Championship in 2018. So yeah, some difficult encounters with Norwich, but also some very successful ones over the past sort of 10 years or so. But yeah, I remember that 4-3 win over Norwich earlier on in the Championship season that we were last together for. Yeah, but it'd be really interesting how we counteract some of these great players that they've got. 20th in the EFL Championship for Albion, only outside the relegation zone on goal difference. 1 win, 6 draws and 2 losses. Absolutely shambolic against Birmingham City. Let's not beat around the bush here. That was a dreadful performance. A derby game, I think we will call it that. We'll call it that for added effect, I think, but more than anything. But Birmingham made it a derby game. Albion stepped away from the derby element of the game, tried to play a timid, shrewd style of football, but it looked as disjointed as it could possibly be, if I have to be completely honest. I mean, yeah, what a poor performance. Goalkeeping, David Button in goal. I was really disappointed with the way that third goal went in. I mean, some of the stats emerging that he's faced 24 shots this season and he conceded 13 of them, which I think is a shambles. I mean, the fact that that's happening is ridiculous. And goalkeeping is a big question whether he should stay in the side. And personally, I'm not too too swayed as to whether he does leave, if he does get put to the bench and somebody else comes in for him, because you can't be conceding that amount of goals and from that amount of shots on target. The defence isn't helping, granted. Carl Bartley, last night against Birmingham was absolutely dreadful. I don't think anybody needs me to tell you that. The booing is, I still always think it's a little bit harsh on one particular player. I think it's pretty awful. At the end of the day, that person does have those sorts of does have feelings, is a person at the end of the day. So I think that's a little bit harsh. He was getting a lot of pelters, a lot of toxicity sort of starting to bubble over in the stands as well. I saw, a bit like last season, but the way Bartley went down the tunnel is unacceptable, I suppose. And I think Bruce will give him a dressing down, and I don't think we'll see him in the matchday squad against Norwich, if I have to be honest. But the big question is, Bruce under pressure? I think yes. I'm not sure he will, but I think from the fans, yes, he has to be doing better, underperforming at the moment with the squad that he's got. I mean, I know it's not a perfect squad. I don't think any side in the Championship has got a perfect squad, but I think with that quality in attack and that quality certainly in midfield, you should not be 20th in the Championship. I think that's very clear to see. He's got players that are able to bail him out. He has to get the best out of them. I'm not sure he is under pressure from the board. I think, obviously Ron Gurley brought him in, knows his qualities, knows what he can do. And I think that's probably a big factor in the fact that, Bruce is being backed and continues to sign these players that are suited to his system. But he doesn't seem like he can get the best out of them at the moment. And I think he's underperforming. So, yeah, I think he is under a bit of pressure, especially from the fans. But there's time to turn it around. I think it's judge it after a dozen. I think it's sort of the phrase. 9 games in now, we have to start seeing some changes in results. So, yeah, here's my predicted 11. In goal, I choose Alex Palmer over David Button personally. That's what I go for. I believe that Button, probably deserves a little bit of a spell out of the team, give somebody else a chance. A back four of Taylor Gardner-Hickman, Dara O'Shea, I'd bring Eric Peters in at centre-back and see what he can do, maybe shift Townsend across. The decision to loan out both Kipre and Caleb Taylor looks a little bit more baffling as the days go by. Martin Kelly doesn't look to be fit anytime soon, so I think Eric Peters maybe bring him in at centre-back and see how he does. Obviously, Bartley, I can't expect to be in the lineup after the withdrawal earlier on in the game, early on in that, in the gaming. In retrospect, I think probably shows a lot about Bruce's faith, the trust in him, and I don't think any of the Albion fans have too much trust in Bartley at the moment to coherently defend. So yeah, fair enough. If he gets dropped, and Eric Peters maybe could be the man to come in. Midfield 2 of Akaya Kushley, well, I actually thought was quite poor against Birmingham, and Jason Mullenby I thought was really good against Birmingham. It's a really good pass for Jed Wallace to score. John Swift in the 10 position, Jed Wallace and Dean Garnett out wide, and I put Brandon Thomas-Asante up front. I thought Grant, I couldn't name you more than sort of a couple of touches he had on the pitch last night. I think he was really missing, so I'd bring in Thomas-Asante and see how he does. But my score prediction will probably be a 1-1 draw. I can see maybe we have enough to get a draw out of Norwich, but once again, I can't see us stopping conceding first if we continue to play the same players and continue to switch off early on in games. But drop me your thoughts down below in the comments section. I'd love to hear what you think. It'd be interesting to hear your thoughts and predicted lineups ahead of the game. Make sure you subscribe, comment your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next match preview. Goodbye.